Good morning, Thomas.
Good morning, DJ.
It is President's Day, my friend.
It is President's Day.
Happy President's Day to you.
Happy Donald Trump Day.
Ooh, I like that. That should be a national holiday. Yes, it is President's Day. The kids are off school. You are not off work for the most part. It is our pleasure to bring you episode 15 of the YSN Breakfast Burrito. My name is DJ Yokley. I go by Yoke. His name, my broadcast partner, is Tommy Pease. He goes by Pease. And together, we create the Breakfast Burrito. And this is episode 15. What an absolutely unbelievable and yet very still weekend in the sports world, my friend. What's cracking down your way? Anything new and exciting?
No, it's Potters played at Weirton on Friday night and came away with a loss down there, lost by 13. Played really well. Didn't have Brennan O'Hara, still rebounding from the ankle injury. So the injury and the sickness bug continues to haunt the Potters. But we didn't have cell phone service down there in Weirton, so we could not bring you the game. But Potters ended up losing, I think, by 12 or 13 was the final score. In what was a really competitive basketball game. Went down there and watched, and like I said, no O'Hara, but they played well. Cut it to 2 late in the third quarter, early fourth quarter, but too much Weirton size on the inside that the Potters couldn't contend with, and Weirton came away with the victory.
No, it sounded like I know we talked a little bit, and unfortunately we didn't get the YSN coverage. But man, the Potters looking to limp into the playoffs here, into the tournament. I feel like it's a broken record we talk about, but it's something where don't count them out because they're a very dangerous team. But not a whole lot cracking. With South Range able to get a couple of victories and push their record to, I believe, 21-1. The boys team. And the girls team also very, very good. So, the Raiders really surging towards the playoffs. They got a win over Brookfield on the 17th. What was that? Saturday, 74-55, and they had another win on Friday, I believe. So the Raiders looking good. A lot of
21-1, huh?
Yeah.
LeBray, their only loss, right?
That's it. That's the
only heartbreaker.
They are the 1-21-1. Or LeBray. So if you're familiar with professional wrestling and Paul Heyman, you get that inside joke. But yeah, it's been a good year for the Raiders all around. I mean, football and now basketball, and looking to transition that into baseball and softball as well. So we're excited to be covering. We're excited to cover all our teams here locally. But man, it's going to be an interesting week because guess what, buddy? Tournament time is here. We've talked about it seemingly for the last 47 million years. It's been the longest, kind of anticipated, break, I guess, or break between the action. And even we've had a little dabble and a trickle of some action here and there. But this is what they play for. They play for the big championships here in the state of Ohio, and it's here, man. We're in championship week. We're excited to cover some of that action. I know that you guys will have next week is the boys kicks off.
Yeah, we're still 8 days away for Potter playoffs. So,
but this is the girls' time to shine, and shine they will. So we got some great action. We're gonna talk about it more in the days to come. But wanted to let everybody know if girls basketball is what you've been waiting for, this is your week. This is your March Madness, so to speak. So go to ysnlive.com, check out the bracketology that Anthony Hartwig put together, see how your team stacks up, and we will talk about it, I'm sure, every day moving forward here on the Burrito about teams that are in, teams that are out, and teams that are just looking to chase their dream here. So local news, that's about it, man. Not a whole lot shaking. And national, regional, we talked about it before, kind of a dry time in sports land after the Super Bowl's over. The AllStar Game's really the only thing going on other than the Olympics. And I never thought I'd say this. Thank goodness for the Olympics, because without the Olympics, there'd be almost zero sports happening.
Well, it was NBA All-Star Weekend. I know you're not a huge NBA guy, but for all the NBA gurus out there, it was a good weekend to showcase the talent that the NBA brings to the table. So I'm sure we'll talk about that.
Are you a big skills challenge guy?
I do. I enjoy all that dunk contest, 3-point shootout. Yep. Yeah, Rising Stars game.
That's you know what I like more than anything? The celebrity game, because that I can appreciate that more than anything, because those are more or less regular people doing what the NBA stars do every night. So you're seeing a lot more misses. You're seeing a lot more terrible shots, kind of like what we do when we play some pickup ball in the gym or in the summer. That's to me sometimes more interesting to watch than NBA stuff.
Justin Bieber looked old.
He did, and that makes us feel old because he was a young Canadian coming out not too long ago. So, hey man, I know you had it. You're a huge Buckeye fan, man. They took their licks last week against Penn State on the basketball court, and then yesterday again against Michigan. What's the scoop on the Buckeyes?
I mean, they're not playing good basketball right now. I mean, it's just you're never, when you play Michigan, I don't care how good or bad they are, it's going to be, especially against Ohio State, it's going to be a big game. And Michigan, they played better than Ohio State did yesterday. So just made for a tough outing for the Buckeyes. Hopefully, that's only 7 losses on the season for them. So hopefully they can rebound and, get things right before heading into March Madness and make a run, because they're talented enough to do so. But this year, we talked about it before, I feel that March Madness is going to be a wide open, exciting tournament this year.
How do you feel about putting together a March Madness bracket for our fans and maybe getting a Breakfast Burrito T-shirt on the line or something like that for whoever wins it?
Yeah, I'm all for it.
Something
I like
like that. Something cool. Because I'm with you. I think that this is going to be a very interesting March Madness. I think it's going to be a huge one of those ones that's just going to be a wild ride. And I mean, you look at Duke, you look at these teams that are national powerhouses, and usually there's teams, going in undefeated or very close to it. There's not a whole lot of that this year, my friend.
No, you got Virginia at the top. Villanova's strong, but after that, I mean, it's pretty much wide open. You've seen the demise of Trae Young and the Oklahoma Sooners as they started the season just absolutely on a tear, reached to number 2 in the rankings at one point. But now teams are keying on Trae Young, and he's a dynamic player. And when you take him out of their offensive set or force him to make shots that aren't in his realm, he struggled, and so's Oklahoma. So that team there, hopefully, they can get it together as well and make a little run in the big tournament. But we'll see. It's going to be interesting, because there's going to be a couple Cinderella stories this year which make March Madness what it is.
Did you happen to catch the West Virginia Kansas game the other night?
I did not.
Oh my goodness, Huggy went nutty. He, it was like 35 foul shots to 2. And
yeah, I seen a big complaint segment that he had on ESPN, but
man, he was heated. He got tossed with like 30 seconds to go in the contest, and you could see why. I mean, every time West Virginia went to the rack, there was a ton of contact and no foul called. But the other way, that home court advantage that Kansas had, and apparently, and I don't watch enough college basketball to be able to give an honest opinion on this, but apparently it's been happening for a while. And Huggy said it's been building. So Bob Huggins putting his foot down on the officiating, which is obviously a huge no-no in our business and in the business of coaching and at any level. But I think he's just had enough, and there's just no consistency in the calls both ways. And I think that's what he's trying to get across.
Yeah, when the foul shooting or the fouls are as uneven as what they were in that game, and somebody like Bob Huggins, who's coached in the NCAA for so long, if he sees a problem with it or says it's something that he's never seen before in his long-term coaching career, then yeah, definitely he's got reasons to complain. And like you said, with 30 seconds to go in the game, he got tossed for it, and then he wasn't happy about it after the game either. And we heard that press conference on ESPN. So yeah, I mean, it's a tough night for the West Virginia Mountaineers, but that's another good team that could make a run deep into March Madness. So hopefully kind of a regional coverage for us there. And be nice to see the Mountaineers make a deep run.
Yeah, anybody. I mean, well, do you know it's in Pittsburgh? They're starting out in Pittsburgh this year, so it might be worth a little journey. You and I, maybe a breakfast burrito on the road, on the go, with wheels.
I like it.
So yeah, man.
Ever since we stopped doing the camera angle here on the burrito, I'm always on the road, bro.
I know you are. You got your burrito with wheels, as they say in Coriopolis, Pennsylvania. The McDonald's there. Cheryl, she started that. I just want an orange juice. I said, she goes, you want it for here or to go? She goes, and I said, I'd like it to go, please. And she goes, she over the loudspeaker, she goes, orange juice with wheels.
Excuse me.
So I was like, you know what? Let's incorporate that. But yeah, so the NCAA, I mean, the Buckeyes, a couple hiccups here late in the season. The Mountaineers, pretty much on a slide right now. So let's see if they can get their act together before March Madness hits. You know what I really like, other than March Madness, is conference championships. I think for football, it's really exciting. For basketball, it's even more so. So I'm excited to see, especially these I don't want to say younger schools, these smaller schools. Like, if YSU gets a break into March Madness, that's always a cool opportunity for local area schools. But these Cinderella opportunities, coming out of zero conferences. It's always pretty neat for me, and I love that those underdog stories. So looking forward to that.
They put the madness in March, right?
They do, man. They do. They absolutely do. All right. So we gotta put a pause right here, because you know what? I gotta just put it out there, and I'm sure our fans and our listeners and our audience feel the same way. I miss the squeaky Bandido right now. I love you very much, but I'm missing the squeaky Bandido.
Oh, he's the man. He is in two segments or two episodes that he's been on in the 15. He's legendary. He's already making his mark down here in East Liverpool. So the squeaky the squeaky Bandido is the man. He's brutally honest, and that's what people want to hear, I think. So
I got so much good reaction from that nutting segment on episode 14.
I told you it was great.
Yeah, it was great. He just started out on fire. But so the squeaky Bandido has an open invitation here, is what I'm trying to say. Absolutely. Anytime, right? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, let's get to our speed bag round. We're getting there a little early today, but nonetheless, we got a little bit of our heavy bag is pretty heavy. So the speed bag you want to talk about, my friend, NBA All-Star Game, 45 minutes of hot air and 3 minutes of actual basketball and good product. Are they on the right track to build interest back into the All-Star Game? I actually enjoyed the NBA All-Star Game. I thought that the format that they went with this year was interesting. I liked how they did it, and at the end of the day, they scored 148 to 145. So the scoring was a little down from last year, which makes you say that there could have been a little bit of defensive effort there, which mainly came late in the fourth period, but defense ended up winning the game, as Steph Curry could not get a shot off at the end of the game, as Team LeBron stepped up the defense. They knew who was going to take the shot, and they were not going to let it happen. And big nights out of Paul George, big night out of Russell Westbrook. LeBron James was your MVP, and it was just I thought it was a good night for the NBA. So, and I'm an NBA homer though, so it makes it easy for me to say that. But I enjoyed it. I actually enjoyed the All-Star Game. I enjoyed the last 3 minutes. I enjoyed I enjoyed watching one of my favorite comedians completely butcher the opening segment of the All-Star Game when it was almost unwatchable. And I I guess I just like watching the car wreck, I guess, because Fergie singing the national anthem was, oh my gosh. Oh, that was probably the worst rendition of the national anthem ever. When my 11-year-old son was like, "That was not good, huh?" And he don't know any different, but he just said that he wanted confirmation that it wasn't good. And I said, "Yeah, buddy, you're right. It wasn't very good." So yeah, Fergie. Don't tell Charles Barkley that, because he's a big Fergie fan. You heard that at the halftime report. He don't want to hear that it wasn't a good job. But yeah, it was. She struggled. When you're not hiding behind the Black Eyed Peas and you're out there by yourself, bad things can happen. And she didn't step up to the table last night. Gotta get, right? Isn't that her thing?
Yeah, gotta get.
Gotta
That's good.
Yeah, London Bridge was certainly falling down on Fergie last night. It was bad news. And that's one of the things, and there's a lot of pride in our country. You look at, I mean, we'll talk about NASCAR here in the next segment, but man, you talk about things you don't want to mess around with. National anthem is at the top of that list. You do not want to make people upset by taking your rendition of the national anthem. It's got its own pace. It's got its own highs and lows. Don't mess with it. Leave it alone. Like, we mess with enough things in this country. Leave our national anthem by itself.
Yeah, just sing it how it's supposed to be sung.
That's it.
Plain and simple.
It's a simple song. It's something that everybody should know by heart. I understand if you get a little nervous singing in front of that many people, but do not try to change the national anthem to cater to your I don't even know, linguistics or your vocal range, or try to show off your vocal range. Just sing it.
It's a very complicated song to sing, and I don't think that Fergie probably had the pipes or has the pipes to sing it the proper way, is the reason why she did her own little twist or rendition on there. They ought to just, every professional team, every big event that has a national anthem, they ought to just bring LeAnn Rimes in and let her sing it, because she did, every time that she's ever done the national anthem, she's spot on with it.
Killed it. Yeah, she absolutely, she out of the park home run, killed it in a good way. Killing it in a bad way is Fergie, but does it stack up to Carl Lewis, his rendition of the national anthem so many years ago?
Or Roseanne.
Oof.
I mean, one of those, Fergie or Roseanne, take your pick your poison, I guess.
I forgot about that one, man. That was
bad
rough too. That was rough. But I guess the bottom line is, sing it the way it's supposed. I mean, sing it with pride, sing it with passion, but don't try to take your remix to it, Fergie. You got to get. That's all I'm gonna say.
Gotta get.
So
boom, boom.
Favorite part of the AllStar game for you?
Favorite part of the AllStar game for me was probably, man, I don't know. That's a good question. Well, besides the last, like you said, 3 or 4 minutes that, you've seen the intensity pick up from the players. I mean, I enjoyed the wide array of passing alley-oops that we've seen. Loved LeBron's passes to Beal. Loved LeBron's pass to AD, the bounce pass off the floor. Loved the alley-oop from alley-oop to Westbrook to LeBron. And then just seeing, all those elite athletes and elite talent on the floor. So I enjoyed, like I said, I enjoyed all of it. But the best part, probably the last 3 minutes, when you've seen the intensity pick up and you've seen the actual, what's the word I'm looking for? Like the care or the want to win from these players in that final 3 to 5 minutes of the game. That was the best part for me.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Their will to compete picked up late in the fourth quarter.
There is still nobody on this earth that can turn it on and off like LeBron James. I mean, you saw that look when he was down, 13 with 3 minutes to go or whatever. And they cut to I remember sitting on the couch with my wife and they cut to a I guess ISO, what they call it in the business, of LeBron James. And I said, uh-oh, he's got that look in his eye. He is not going to go down without a fight here. Same look we saw when he took, I think, scored like 23 unanswered points against the Pistons in the playoffs so many years ago. He's still got that look. And here's the thing. Nobody can stop him. You have the best players on the planet playing against him, and they can't stop this man. It's incredible.
You're right. And here's some food for thought. In the world we live in today, a lot of comparisons, you can get into an argument with 100 people and probably it's going to be split 50-50 or 60-40 about the LeBron James, Michael Jordan comparisons, right? So let's take a look at this. LeBron's in his 14th year in the NBA. All right. Last night, you've seen on the oop from Westbrook and multiple other plays, LeBron getting up to where basically his chin is above the rim. Now, Michael Jordan's 14th year in the NBA was 2001, well after what would be considered MJ's prime.
Yep.
MJ lost his bounce at that point in time. He had to change his game. He became, back you down, fadeaway Michael Jordan, or, old man game Michael Jordan. Now, LeBron in his 14th season in the NBA, granted, he's 3 or 4 years younger than what Michael Jordan was in his 14th year, but this dude is still, he's the greatest player on the planet. I'm sorry. I know there's arguments out there that he's not, but he is still the greatest player on the planet when he wants to be. And the fact that he's in his 14th season and can still take his game to that elite level, and he still has that bounce in his step, and he's got the hops that he does. Hats off to LeBron for still bringing what he does to the table in his 14th NBA season. So,
isn't that incredible that the guy is better than he's ever been in his 14th season? Taking a look, and anybody can do this. Go look at all the pictures of LeBron James each year in his AllStar game, and just watch the evolution of a boy becoming a man. And you want to talk about a guy that has no days off. Obviously, he's surrounded by some controversy right now with the shut up and dribble thing in the media, which we can get into if you want. But reality is, we talked about it 2 weeks ago, well before any of this ever happened. But the reality is this, my friend. It's the guy has a passion for basketball. The guy built a brand on his own back, and he's able to get better in every way, in marketing, in sales, I'm sure, in basketball, in his three-point game. That used to be the knock on LeBron, is he'll drive you to the bucket, but he can't shoot the three. Here he is, draining threes like no other. And like you said, Jordan had to change his game, and LeBron has changed his. But LeBron James, to me, is the best basketball player to ever take the court, because he's able to do so many things against you, and you can't stop him. The best in the world could not stop him last night. The best in the world cannot stop him on a nightly basis. You could double team him, and he'll still find a way to beat you. It's incredible. He's just that guy, and it's when he has that look. And winners have that look that when it's time to get serious, they get the job done. They'll roll up their sleeves. They'll do whatever they have to do. They put the team on their back. That's what LeBron James did last night, the final 3 minutes. And, the most beautiful thing to me, we haven't talked about, that it wasn't really for them. They didn't, I don't believe they received anything other than the victory. But the charities that each team represented had, hundreds of thousands of dollars on the line. I think the losing team got $100,000 or $150,000, and the winning team got $350,000 donated to their charity from the NBA. So, hats off to LeBron for putting it on his shoulders and getting it done for those kids, that don't have it as good as some of the other kids here in the world. So I was impressed the last 3 minutes, but it didn't surprise me that I was impressed, because 23 was on the floor.
And 23 not being Michael Jordan, 23 being LeBron James.
Yeah, the guy that is replacing the old 23. The 45, the 12, whatever you want to say Michael Jordan was, wearing all these different numbers. LeBron wore 2 numbers because, he wore the 6, obviously, but he also, he's worn 23 since his days at Akron Savies. The 6 was more about, I think, him being the alter ego or the bad guy, because he knew he was going to catch flack down there. But I was glad when he took 23 back, and I'm glad that he's able to keep that Michael Jordan, best in the game is going to wear 23, because I know when we call basketball games, I look for who's wearing 23, and it's usually one of the better players on the court. I don't know if that's the same with you, but every time I see 23, I say, whoa, okay, this is going to be either one of their best guys or a freshman that got lucky.
That's funny.
It is. That's one of the things I
It's
look
true,
at.
though. It's
I'm a
true.
big number guy. I'm a huge number guy. I'm big into it. I mean, you take your number for a reason. And usually when people wear the 23, as Jay-Z said, well, I guess it's not his is 45, but it's to take aim at you and to play games with you. So
look at you rapping on the burrito.
Dude, I got some skills. I got some rips, some whatever they call it nowadays, some lyricism. Do you think the changes? I think that I like the drafting it. I think that they were onto something at the end of the game without even thinking about it, though, when they talked about drafting a team on Sunday during the game in front of everybody, like extending it a little bit, but putting a team together. You could just hand the jerseys out as they go. Like, how hard is it for the NBA to print out 2 different jerseys, and as you're drafted, you get handed it? I think that'd be sweet.
Little live draft concept would be nice.
How cool would that be? I mean, that they got it right. I think that they have the platform right, with not going east and west, because it's boring. With the way that teams play each other now, they play the East versus the West all year, and same in baseball. The interleague matchups. It's not the way it used to be. So the All-Star games used to be set up AFC versus NFC, but the problem was the AFC and the NFC, or NFL versus AFL, or whatever it was, they didn't play each other. So it was interesting. There was some intrigue to it. Now it's why it's so boring, and probably why he gets terrible ratings is because, first off, it's not real football. Secondly, they see each other every week.
I agree. Yeah, the Pro Bowl stinks.
Yep.
It stinks for sure. Here's some food for thought. Last thought for NBA that came across my mind last night. So we know that LeBron, as the season progresses here and we get to the offseason in the NBA, there's going to be a lot of talk about where LeBron goes, etc. Last night, I couldn't help but notice this weird chemistry that Russell Westbrook, Paul George, and LeBron James had together last night. Now, never played together, maybe in the Olympics, not sure, but man, would that be special in Oklahoma City if it was Westbrook, LeBron, and PG?
Yeah, I mean, it'd be good, but here's the thing. If you're LeBron and you leave Cleveland, it better be to chase championships. I mean, that's got to be the only reason, right?
You don't think that would be a championship team?
I mean,
Paul George, LeBron James, Russell Westbrook, they got Adams inside. He's got size. If Anthony stays, I mean, that there seems to be.
You still got to beat Houston. You still got to beat Golden State. And I mean, that's the thing. Like, in the East, you'd be better off at this point to build your team in the East. You know what I mean? Because you're almost guaranteed being in the conference championship. You know what I mean? You're almost you're a 50-50 shot for an East Finals trip. So I would say,
well, Cleveland's going to get back this year. I mean, I'm telling you right now, it'll be Cleveland again in the NBA Finals. It's going to be Cleveland, Golden State again. It's going to happen.
I disagree with you. I disagree. I think it's going to be. I think Houston's going to get it figured out. I mean, if the season were to end today, they'd be the number 1 seed in the West. So I think Houston has a chance to get it done. I think if Golden State runs into a team like a San Antonio or in Oklahoma City, there's some matchup problems there. There really are. And I think that Cleveland proved that they can get by Boston, no problem. No problem. And I think Boston's going to do something stupid, like try to rush Hayward back at the end of the season, and that'll present chemistry issues, and then Boston will be back to where Boston usually is, and that's number 2, second fiddle. So, I mean, I'm with you. I think that if they build it in the West, they would have just a little bit of a tougher time getting to the finals, because what they got going in Golden State right now is, I mean, it's authentic. They did it on their own. They built their own ship over there, so they're going to protect it. Whereas, too many cooks in the kitchen in Houston. I mean, I heard all the crap about LeBron going to Houston last night. I don't think that happens. I think he knows that Harden's a little bit of a flake. Harden will take the last shot, even if he's not open. We saw that last night in the All-Star game. 3 guys open, Harden takes it down, puts up an ill-advised 3, and that's why your charity doesn't get $350,000. Thank you, James Harden.
I don't think I agree with you on that. Actually, I don't think LeBron Harden's a good fit. I don't.
No,
but
I mean,
I do think that LeBron to Oklahoma City would be a championship caliber team that definitely could run through the West. But it is definitely an easier road in the East. There's no doubt about it.
Well, and that's why I think that, I mean, not that I would say he'd ever go to like Orlando or any team like that, but I don't think he makes his return to Miami either. But Orlando would make a lot of sense because he gets back to Florida where there's no sales tax. He's able to capitalize on his money and being able to give more. I mean, being able to give more to your school. But realistically, I see him staying in Cleveland. I see what he's built. He's happy, at least for now. But I also think that when you build your team around one man's happiness, and he's been in the league for 14, 15 years, you're rolling the dice. You really are rolling the dice. And I know they got younger, and I know they got more athletic, but it's the same equation as the first time around. If you take LeBron James out of that lineup, you're a so-so team.
Yeah, I mean, it's, for me, the best place for him to stay is in Cleveland. I think it protects LeBron. I think it protects his legacy. I think it protects the city of Cleveland. So the offseason in the NBA is going to be very interesting, especially if the Cavs can make a run back to the NBA Finals or possibly win an NBA championship, because the Cavs team that we see now on the floor is night and day different from what we've seen post-trade or pre-trade. And I'm excited for what the Cavs are going to do here moving forward. Everything that we talked about on the burrito after the trade is kind of came to fruition, as like Rodney Hood and Clarkson averaging 14 to 17 points a game in a Cavs uniform. So there's 34 points a game, 30 to 34 points a game that the Cavs lacked from, role players. And if they can continue that, those young guns, and then like we talked about before, you add the athleticism of Larry Nance Jr., which you've seen in the dunk contest, how athletic that young man is. I like the Cavs, man. I really do. Get Kevin Love back into the fold. You heard that drama this weekend that he knows that when he comes back, he's going to fit in better in Cleveland. So that right there tells you that there was some heat in the locker room with him or Isaiah, Crowder, whoever else got shipped out, Channing Frye. So Love's excited about coming back. You've seen him and LeBron sitting together last night at the AllStar Game. I think that the Cavs made all the right moves in those trades, and they are a much, much improved basketball team, much more athletic, better scoring, more athletic, and I'm calling it now that the Cavs are going to be back in the NBA Finals.
Over the Celtics to get there?
Oh, yep, over the Celtics.
I'm with you. I know we agree a lot on the show, but I'm with you on that one.
I like Kyrie Irving, but he's not, and I know he thinks he's LeBron James or he's LeBron James caliber, but Kyrie, even though he's the number one player on that team, he is not a Durant. He is not a Harden. He is not a LeBron James. He needs somebody behind him that can pick up the slack when things aren't going his way or the game plan shifts. And, losing Gordon Hayward in that first game of the year at Cleveland, that hurts. That hurts the Celtics, even though they've been successful this year. They've won a lot of games. They're in first or second place in the East. And it's just, I hate to tell you, Kyrie Irving, but you're just not good enough.
He's not. He's not a guy that you look at and you say he can take over a game and you're going to win.
Right.
I guess it boils down to when you look at LeBron James and he has the ball in his hands and he wants to take over that game, he's taking over it to win. And you better stop him and you better double, triple team him or whatever you have to do. But when you do that, he's got the pieces around him that can still win the ball game. Like, he wins the game no matter what. Kyrie Irving thinks that the only way that they win a basketball game, is if he's got the ball in his hands. LeBron James knows he can do it, but also knows that if you just ISO him, guess what? he's kicking the ball out to the corner, and you end up with Kyrie Irving with a chance to make one of the greatest buckets in basketball history. That's why the dynamic works. It works because you had Kyrie, you had Kevin Love, you had LeBron James. You had to stop those guys. I mean, you had to stop Tristan Thompson down inside. And now they're rebuilding with younger talent that wants to get that. They want to get there, right? But over in Boston, Kyrie wants to be LeBron, and he doesn't have the tools. If LeBron's got a 5 tools in his toolbox, Kyrie maybe has 3. I'll give him that out of being generous. I'm saying 2.5 at most, but 3 if we're on a sliding scale.
When LeBron James wants to play at an elite level, both offensively and defensively, he is LeBron James. He's the greatest player on the planet. He can step it up on both sides of the ball. Yeah, he might mail it in on defense a lot because so much has been on his shoulders offensively. But when the cards are down on the table and the game's on the line, LeBron James will play elite defense, and he will be all over the floor. And you've seen that in the finals when he took Draymond Green's shot off the glass, which was one of the biggest blocks in finals history. And he loves to step it up in the spotlight. And LeBron he don't necessarily need to take the shot at the end of the game, but the ball is going to be in his hands one way or another. So I'm excited, man.
Why has everybody forgot about that block? You talk about that block, and that's exactly what I was thinking of. Why has everybody forgot about that block and put so much emphasis on Kyrie Irving's bucket?
Yeah. I mean, they're both big plays, but for me, that block was huge.
Yeah, but if that block doesn't happen, Green goes to the rack. The game is not out of reach, but it's a hard fight to get back in it. You know what I mean? It's one of those things where Golden State gets the momentum because you're probably talking a hoop and a harm. Not that I want to say that LeBron's he is the king, but if he doesn't do that the Cavs lose, the finals. But if he doesn't do that, the Cavs probably lose the finals.
Yeah, you're right.
So, all right, that's enough NBA for one day. I'm getting sick over here eating so much burrito
Did you watch the dunk contest real quick?
I didn't.
You didn't?
No.
Okay.
I heard about Larry.
Tonight, watch the highlights, Google or YouTube slam dunk highlights, and then tomorrow you can tell me what your favorite dunk was.
I will. I'll do that. And I heard already about the story about Nance coming out in the Suns jersey and the Magic.
Oh, it was great.
I heard that was pretty neat. So I will check that out. I don't even know what the heck I was doing on Saturday night. We were watching, had a little movie night with the wife because
that's good.
She deserved it. So, but
that's right. Happy wife, happy life. Don't forget that.
I can tell you that I gave her all kinds of options, and the NBA dunk contest was not among her top 5, maybe even top 10. Like, I think she'd rather watch reruns of Big Bang Theory than watch the NBA dunk contest. But that is Sarah Yoakley, and I'm probably with her on that one. But hey, it is what it is, dude. You wanted to talk NASCAR. You wanted to talk the old NASCAR out of nowhere, and I was like, you know what? Are you a NASCAR fan? The best response ever? No.
Nope, I'm not.
But hey, big news over the weekend. Excuse me. Austin Dillon gets a big win at the Daytona 500. Huge, obviously, huge news because he was in the number 3 car, paying homage to Dale Earnhardt. So it was a really cool moment for NASCAR. And Bubba Wallace, as you said before the show, able to get number 2, and there was some pretty significant surrounding that. Do you want to tell everybody what you told me?
Yeah, I'll start with Austin Dillon. I think the coolest thing that I seen yesterday, news-wise, in regard to the 500, it was the fact that he won, and it was 20 years ago to the date that Dale Earnhardt Jr. won the Daytona 500. And the craziest thing is, little Austin Dillon. In the winner's circle picture from the 1998 Daytona 500 when Earnhardt took the checkered flag, Austin Dillon in the winner's circle as Earnhardt Jr. or Dale Earnhardt Sr. puts the puts the Daytona 500 trophy above his head. Little Austin Dillon as a little boy right there beside him. And then fast forward 20 years later, inside the infamous number 3 car, Austin Dillon takes the checkered flag and becomes the Daytona 500 champion. That is cool. You know, it's a good story, so to speak. And then on the backside of that, the guy that finished number 2, Bubba Wallace, like you just talked about, highest finish ever for an African-American NASCAR driver to finish in the Daytona 500. Another exciting news for NASCAR, who had been on, over the past probably 5 years, had been on a little decline. You know, late 90s, early 2000s, NASCAR was just smoking hot. But yesterday, a sold-out crowd at the Daytona 500, beautiful weather, and an exciting race, which seen Austin Dillon take the checkered flag, and then Bubba Wallace, as we talked about, runner-up. So hopefully a lot of youth now in the NASCAR series. Some of the guys that I knew growing up, like Jeff Gordon, Dale Earnhardt Jr., they're retired. And, you know, Gordon is a broadcaster, and Dale Earnhardt Jr. is a crew chief type guy in the booth. So times have changed in NASCAR, but an exciting day for the sport yesterday with those two stories headlining the Daytona 500.
Yeah, pretty cool. You're looking at kind of the statistics and what surrounds Austin Dillon. He's only 27, and you know he was 7 years old in that picture. And it's kind of neat. NASCAR is a really cool sport because it's really family tradition heavy, and you know, all these, you know, juniors and the thirds, and you know, it's really interesting. And you hit the nail on the head, my friend, when you said that there's a youthful kind of takeover happening in NASCAR, because one of the locals here, Ryan Blaney, Dave Blaney's his dad, ran for so many years, ended up 7th. He got a great spot on the pole by winning a race, I think, on Friday, and then I think he started in third position, finished in 7th. But yeah, the youth transformation is happening in NASCAR, and it's starting to get exciting to watch. Have you ever been to a NASCAR race?
I have. Yes.
Even for the casual fan, it's really enjoyable. I had a chance to go down to Daytona, actually, and with the company I used to work for, and went down with one of the biggest NASCAR fans in the history of the world. He was able to explain it to me, and I had a really good time. And man, got to meet Casey Kane through Farmers Insurance. I'm not sure if he's still there or not, but it was cool. We were in the pits. We got to do all that stuff, and you know, just kind of take it in. I was actually on the track. You don't realize that track is so skewed, like it's so angled that you know, it's hard to even stand and walk on, because it's just like a hill.
It's huge.
Oh yeah, Daytona, and Daytona is just an absolute unbelievable atmosphere. So that's something I want to definitely do again, and really enjoy it from a spectator standpoint, because they got a great following, and it's almost like it's like a camping trip, you know, a glorified camping trip when you go.
I went to I had the opportunity to go to Michigan to watch a NASCAR race, and it was pouring, and it was a muddy mess. It got canceled halfway through, so that experience was terrible. But I couldn't believe how loud the cars were when they went by. It was unbelievable.
Oh yeah, and they said to wear earplugs, and you definitely should wear earplugs. I mean, it's the athleticism that people say, oh, they're just driving around in cars. Well, the athleticism isn't necessarily on the track. The athleticism to me is more in the pits. If you see these giant human beings that are carrying the gasoline cans and you know, these tires, it's really incredible to watch. I mean, you don't really realize it, and you know how athletic and how just perfect these people have to be until you're actually seeing it in person. I mean, imagine changing it takes me 2 hours to go to Pep Boys and get my tires changed. Imagine if they could change them in 2.8 seconds or whatever it is. You know, it's fun to watch.
That's great. I love it. It's exciting.
It is.
Pit stops are exciting.
It is. It is. Hey, man, look, we got about 10 minutes left. We're gonna have to skip. We're gonna have to push the heavy bag to tomorrow. So we'll give a teaser to it because we're gonna talk a little bit more NASCAR, believe it or not, and then we're gonna talk about the kicker for today. And it's a very interesting topic to say the least. But tomorrow we will definitely talk about what example are athletes setting for kids in terms of social media, and should kids be given a pass on it, and should the athletes be given a pass on what they're able to talk about on social media, and they, I guess, the example they're setting for our children and in our families. So make sure you tune in tomorrow. That'll be the heavy bag, the heavy topic tomorrow. Maybe we can get that might be a good squeaky burrito or squeaky Bandido topic, because I bet he weighs in heavy.
And there's no school tomorrow at East Liverpool, so we could definitely get the squeaky Bandito on here for sure.
Squeaky Bandido, yeah. All right, let's bank on that because everybody loves him. They hate us. That's cool.
Maybe we're bland. I guess we're just too bland.
We're just vanilla. And Squeaky comes on here and he brings the fire.
He does. He puts the sauce on the burrito. That's for sure.
That's it. He's the squeaky saucy Bandito. So so that'll be tomorrow. Make sure you tune in for that. Get your questions in or have your thoughts down. We'd love to read them live on the air about how social media is affecting our kids from the athletic standpoint. So athletes talking about things, getting involved in politics and things of that nature, how it affects our kids and how it kind of trickles down. So get your comments in for tomorrow's show. Dude, the big thing when you said NASCAR, what I wanted to talk about was one of my huge crushes, Danica Patrick. This is the farewell tour, and the farewell ain't going so great right now. She doesn't finish the race yesterday, officially 35th. She gets the DNF beside her name. She gets 2 points, I guess, in the standings. But this is not what she obviously had in mind. Is Danica Patrick? I mean, it was cool to see a female in a man's world on the track. Is it just time to say adieu?
I'm pretty sure that yesterday was her last NASCAR race.
That's it.
Yeah, I think it was over. Farewell, Danica Patrick. Yeah, that was it. So definitely the most beautiful person to ever put on the fire suit and hop into a NASCAR for the Daytona 500. So. She did a lot for the sport during their downtime, which I talked about a little bit ago, where the numbers were down and the sport kind of came bland and it lost its pizzazz. Danica Patrick stepped in and brought some mainstream news to the sport. So, she did good by the sport, and the sport did good by her, but she's going back to her roots, and she's going to go back into the Indy Series where it all started for her. So.
That's what it is. Okay, so I'm reading right now. Yeah, she's going to retire from motorsports after racing in May's Indy 500. So that was her last NASCAR race, they say. So good spot there, Tommy.
And then she's dating Aaron Rodgers or engaged to Aaron Rodgers, right?
Yeah. What happened? I don't want to get into that. I was going to say, what happened to Olivia Munn? Because I know they were dating for a while, and then I was really jealous of him at that point, but. Regardless, good for him.
Still
Rodgers.
Jealous. Danica's awesome.
Does Aaron Rodgers freaking lose? Like, he just gets everything he wants. I mean, he's
a winner.
He's not even that. Listen, Aaron Rodgers, you can look at yourself in the mirror and you're not that good looking. You know it. You might have great commercials. I'm not saying Aaron Rodgers, not you, peas.
Oh, my bad.
But Aaron Rodgers looks in the mirror and he's not that good looking. He knows he's not that good looking. So for him to land Olivia Munn, and now Danica Patrick he's got I don't know if he's got charm or whatever, but man, come on.
Listen, he probably walks into the bedroom, does the discount double check sign, and she loves it. And that's all it wrote.
And you know what?
Rodgers. And he's a Super Bowl champion. He's the best quarterback on the planet.
That's great. Good for him. But you know what? Every time that they have those State Farm commercials and Clay Matthews messes up his world, I feel good. I'm Team Clay. Sometimes you deserve it, Aaron. Sometimes karma takes place. That's all I'm going to say. Can't have it all. You can't have your nice truck. Clay Matthews is going to mess it up with his drone. State Farm. Like a good
Clay
neighbor.
Matthews going to steal his girlfriend next, probably.
Like a good neighbor, go to hell, Aaron Rodgers. That's my new motto for State Farm. Like a good neighbor, go straight to hell, Aaron Rodgers. So yeah, I mean that's it, dude. Okay, so I've been waiting. I've been chomping at the bit. The story that I woke up to this morning was there is allegedly someone who did not pass a drug test or has been caught juicing, not in baseball, not in football, not in basketball, not in ice skating, not in hockey, not in snowboarding. Mr. Pease?
Oh, my goodness. How bad are the Winter Olympics when the number one story right now is a doping scandal in curling?
Woo! That's what I'm talking about, baby!
Oh, my goodness. You got to be kidding me that is actually news or plays any part in whether Russia is going to win the curling events. I mean, this is just, it's ridiculous. They took home a bronze medal in doubles, him and his wife, and then he gets supposedly busted for juicing, doping, whatever they're calling it. And this, come on. Curling? Have you ever, what kind of advantage are you going to get in curling by taking some steroids? This is, I mean, this is ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
This is beautiful. You know what? That dude is in the gym or whatever. And he's like, you know what? Here's my competitive advantage. Boink, goes right to the needle and juices for curling. Incredible. I guess it's a chick.
It's almost a disadvantage. Curling's like a finesse game with some broom or something in your hand. Give me a break. It is just so ridiculous.
Dude, it is. It's beautiful. I mean, I told you, I like seeing car wrecks. Curling, man. We talked about it. Curling would be so much better with beer. You know what even makes curling that much better? Juicing. Steroids. That is unbelievable. It's beautiful. It's a thing of beauty because guess what? Now we can look at guys like Barry Bonds and be like, you know what? You get a pass, pal. You know, you never got caught. But you know what? This butthole from Russia busted in curling.
Crazy world. It's a crazy world.
If you're that guy.
I can't believe they even test curling people for steroids.
They test all Olympic athletes. And that's why when I say it's not an athletic event. We talked about this and we went back like the same gold medal or bronze medal, whatever this guy won, it shouldn't count. I mean, it shouldn't. You're going to take it away for juicing, but it's not an athletic event. It doesn't matter. Like the medals have, there should be different levels. Like they should get like a junior. I don't know. I mean, I respect them, and I see your point that you had the other day with they're all specialists, but this cat is juicing and curling. That's like you like getting a bunch of Red Bulls before you go out to toss some cornhole. You know what I mean? Like get amped up.
It's sad. It's a sad world.
It is a sad world. I feel bad for this guy.
I do too. I feel bad for him too because him juicing does not have any impact on whether you win the curling gold medal or he got the bronze. Him and his wife in the doubles got the bronze medal. So
it's him that was busted, right? Not her.
Right.
Okay.
No, right. Him.
That, I mean, it's a confusing story. It's one of those scratch your head stories. But when I woke up this morning, dude, so every morning I get up, I basically have our outline of what we're going to talk about. I saw this and I just smiled ear to ear because I was like, yes, finally. So
curling is stealing the headlines of the Winter Olympics. Crazy.
Good for you, Russia. Good for you. You don't really have a country in there. You have the Olympics. What are they officially? The Olympic athletes from Russia. That's your MO. That's what your alias is. And you guys can't even keep it clean for how many weeks? Like, didn't they get booted from doping to not be in the Olympics?
Yeah, and Skoshi or wherever the heck the last one was, they got all kinds of trouble for doping. Not only multiple athletes. So
good for you, Russia. Good for you. Way to prove everybody wrong. We're just, you
ain't cheating, you ain't trying. I guess that's the Russian motto.
Dude, listen, let's just blame everything on Russia. That's the American way, is just point at them. Hey, Russia did it. So, way to make everybody look like geniuses, Russia. So, hats off to you. Hats off to this cat for going the extra mile in curling, because like you said, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. And lie, cheat, and steal if you're Eddie Guerrero. So
that's right.
So good for you, Russia. Way to bring it home. And I'm assuming they're gonna have to give up their medal. Just as an assumption. But let me ask you this. So here's the way we'll wrap the show. If you're the fourth place and you have to now you become third place, a bronze medal winner, how does that make you feel?
I would just keep my fourth place and tell them to keep it, because if I can't beat a meathead who's doping for curling, then I don't deserve a medal anyway.
Oh, I'm with you. That's this is gold.
It's unbelievable.
It
really
gold.
is.
Well,
when you sent me the spot sheet for this morning, and I because I didn't see that until you sent me that, so then I did a little bit of reading up on it. I just sitting there honestly just shaking my head like this is unbelievable.
It is, and I love it. I love it. It adds intrigue to the Olympics, which is something they need so bad, because it's on all hours of the night, and Mike Tirico never knows what time it is. So yeah, man, it's fun. It's fun now. This is the fun stuff that comes out of it. So if you're out there, doing the daily grind, don't you worry, folks. Don't you worry, because the Olympic athletes from Russia are juicing and curling, and they're trying to get it done. They're trying to be entertaining for you. They're going the extra mile to make sure that their quote unquote country gets an Olympic medal. If you're doping in curling and you only get the bronze, is it mission accomplished?
No, you're a failure. You're a failure. It does. You know what? It doesn't matter, because it has no impact on your curling skills.
We don't know that. That hasn't been proven in science.
Oh, well, common sense tells you that you don't have to be a doper to be a good curler.
How do you think USA Andy Reid, curling guy, feels about this?
You ought to feel spited.
Yeah. It's a dark day in the curling world today.
It is.
But it's a bright day.
2018 here. Olympics, Winter Olympics, the fall of curling.
The fall of curling. In a place where nobody can freaking pronounce. Pyeongchang, Korea. That is it's a dark day. It's a dark day for curling, but it's a great day for everybody else. Just make sure you make it yours. For Tommy Pease, I am DJ Yoakley. That is a wrap on the Breakfast Burrito. We will see you tomorrow. We will talk a little bit of social media and how athletes stack up and how it affects your kids. Make sure you tune in then. Until next time, this has been the YSN Breakfast Burrito. So long, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow.